What does it really mean for an AI to think? Today, we're diving deep into Interview.net SQL Server, the missing link in .NET hiring. Modern .NET systems are data intensive, but technical interviews test C and SQL in isolation. This mismatch hires developers who write clean code yet cause slow queries, broken transactions, and midnight incidents. Interview.net SQL Server bridges that chasm. Finally, an interview that mirrors how systems actually run. Hire engineers who master data, not fear it. But here's where it gets interesting. The interview gap is costing you. The standard .NET loops probe algorithms, DI, async await. SQL rounds are scripted. Write a join, what's an index? No scenario demands reasoning about how entity framework translates to query plans or connection pooling affects transaction scoping. Industry data shows 42% of .NET production incidents stem from data access layer faults. The result? Production data bugs, N+1 catastrophes, and deadlocks that only surface post-launch. Candidates are left unprepared for real work. So what's the real problem? Let's talk about the single stack illusion persists. The industry separates code and data in hiring. Resumes list Net and SQL Server as distinct skills. In production, they're inseparable, and API endpoint's latency is a function of the SQL it generates, indexes it hits, and transaction boundaries the middleware establishes. Isolated assessments miss the friction at the boundary. That friction becomes your technical debt. Existing methods produce false confidence. True .NET proficiency demands SQL fluency, concurrency, error handling, data freshness, cross-cutting concerns no single domain test evaluates. This raises a critical question. Interview.net SQL Server, the unified assessment platform. We rebuilt the technical interview around the .NET SQL runtime. Candidates open a collaborative IDE with C and T-SQL side by side. They build endpoints, debug query plans, handle concurrency, and fix anti-patterns, all in production-like containers. No leak puzzles. No disconnected trivia. Just the integration challenges that define senior .NET engineering. Built by engineers who debugged real-world data failures. It's the interview we wish we'd had when building data-critical systems. Now let's zoom in on unified evaluation architecture. 3 layers instrumented end-to-end: code surface C, EF core, Dapper, raw ADO.NET. Data surface, T-SQL, indexes, statistics, query store, execution plans, integration fabric system, transactions, connection pooling, locking, isolation. The scenarios run in sandbox SQL Server plus .NET containers. Telemetry flows into a scoring engine that analyzes latency, logical reads, deadlock graphs, and code patterns. Containerized runs ensure zero environment drift across candidates, ensuring fair, reproducible evaluations. This architecture mirrors production duality. Here's something most people overlook. 5 modules, full stack. API construction, build a feature-complete endpoint with correct data access. 2. Schema design model domain, normalize, define indexes for ORM access patterns. 3. Query tuning, interpret execution plans, resolve parameter sniffing, eliminate scans. 4. Transaction engineering, apply isolation levels, handle deadlocks, ensure consistency. 5. Performance diagnosis, identify N+1, misuse of lazy loading, chatty I/O. Each module scores against senior benchmarks, covering the full spectrum of .NET data engineering. Think about this for a second. The interview flow. Scenario brief, real-world prompt, implement a reservation system with optimistic concurrency. 2. Live environment, VS Code like IDE, split C-SQL editors, live execution against a seeded database. 3. Automatic profiling, query store metrics, execution plan diff, lock weights, .NET performance counters stream in real time. 4. guided evaluation, structured rubric surfaces, red flags, missing index, distributed transaction, excessive round trips. The interviewer focuses on signals, not memory. Candidates see their own real-time metrics, promoting self-correction. Post-interview, detailed reports with timeline and decision points. And this is where things get complex. Signal-based scoring. Raw metrics, not gut feel. For each module, we measure endpoint latency P95, logical reads per operation, index utilization, transaction isolation violations, deadlock occurrences, and code maintainability indices. These are compared to baselines from 500 plus senior .NET/SQL engineers. Scorecards are auto-generated, comparable across candidates, and validated against on-the-job performance data. Hiring managers see a radar chart of integration competence, not a pass-fail flag. Candidates receive immediate feedback on integration patterns, no trivia, no bias. But here's where it gets interesting. Hire for production, not the whiteboard. Early adopters report 40% reduction in production data incidents within 6 months. 2 times faster ramp up for new hires because they already understand the .NET/SQL interplay. 60% fewer SQL-related code review reworks. The interview becomes a precision filter. It eliminates candidates who look good on paper but can't deliver safe, performant data features. Hiring managers gain a predictive signal, reducing mishires by half. Quality becomes a hiring outcome, not a hope. So what's the real problem? Let's talk about the platform is moving. .NET 8, EF Core 8, and SQL Server 2022 bring native AOT, improved LNQ to SQL translation, query hints in EF, intelligent query processing, and ledger tables. These features multiply the surface area where .NET and SQL interact. A developer who doesn't understand both layers will produce subtle, catastrophic bugs. Interview standards must match the platform's sophistication. The window for outdated assessments is closing. The era of superficial screening is over. Legacy methods can't assess these capabilities. This raises a critical question: enterprise ready. Deploy on your infrastructure, on-prem, private cloud, air-gap, SSO SAML, role-based access, white label candidate experience. Integrates with Greenhouse, Lever, Workday, custom scenario authoring from your real code bases. SOC 2 Type 2 GDPR compliant. Security and privacy are defaults, not add-ons. Designed for legal defensibility and uniformity. Scale from startup to Fortune 500 without changing your hiring workflow. Trusted by engineering logos. Now, let's zoom in on what's next. AI-powered scenario generation mines your production schema and code base to create custom interview problems. Adaptive testing. Difficulty adjusts to candidate signals in real time, shortening loops. Team Analytics dashboard tracks hiring, quality, and skill gaps across squads. Deep integrations with Azure SQL, managed instance, and CI/CD pipelines for interview as code. Stay ahead of the curve as the stack evolves. Join engineering leaders who demand holistic assessment.